The porcelain explodes against my skull. I don't hear it shatter, I feel it. A crack that starts at my temple and radiates through my teeth. Warm liquid runs down the side of my face. Gravy, punch, blood, I can't tell which. The room goes silent except for the tinkling of white ceramic pieces hitting the hardwood floor like broken wind chimes. Talmadge stands 3 feet away, her arm still raised from the swing. Her chest heaves. Her face is the color of a stoplight. "How dare you say no to my mother, you stupid woman!" The words echo off the walls of my son's dining room. Quentin's dining room. The room I helped him paint last summer when they moved in. I remember the paint splatter on my good shoes. My fingers touch my temple. They come away red. Definitely blood then. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Bethany, Talmadge's mother, has both hands pressed to her mouth. Her eyes are wide. She's the one who started this whole mess 3 months ago, asking for my apartment. My apartment that I bought in 1987 with money I saved by skipping lunches for 2 years straight. Quentin stands frozen by the kitchen doorway. My son, my boy who I raised alone after his father walked out. 20 years of double shifts at the textile mill. 20 years of giving him everything while I wore the same 3 pairs of jeans until the knees wore through. Wendell, Talmadge's brother, backs toward the front door. He's an attorney. Elder law. He came here tonight to witness me signing documents. Papers that would transfer my property to Talmadge. Papers that would give her control of everything I've worked for. The blood drips onto my good dress, the blue one I bought at Macy's on clearance. I wore it because Quentin said this was a celebration. A family party for his promotion at work. This wasn't a party, this was an ambush. "Sign the apartment over to me," Talmadge says. Her voice shakes, but not from fear, from rage. "Or pay my mother $1,500 a month for rent. You have that apartment just sitting there with strangers in it while my mother suffers." I look at each of them. Talmadge with her hand still raised. Bethany pretending to be shocked. Wendell calculating his exit strategy. Quentin saying nothing, doing nothing, choosing nothing. And I smile. The smile starts small, just the corners of my mouth. Then it spreads. Wide enough that I feel it pull at my cheeks. Wide enough that Talmadge's arm slowly lowers. "You have no idea what I just did," I say. Talmadge's red face starts to drain, pink to white in 3 seconds. "What?" Her voice comes out smaller than before. Bethany drops her hands from her mouth. "Corinne, what are you talking about?" Wendell stops moving toward the door. His attorney brain is working. I can see it in his eyes. Quentin finally speaks. "Mom." I touch my bleeding temple again. Look at the red on my fingers. Look at each of them watching me, waiting. 2 weeks ago, I say slowly, I made some phone calls. The color continues draining from Talmadge's face. She knows. Before I say another word, some part of her already knows. "What calls?" Wendell asks. His voice has that careful lawyer tone. I don't answer him. "Not yet. Let them wonder, let them imagine. Let the fear sink in the way they've been sinking their claws into me for 3 months. Blood drips from my chin onto the hardwood floor, right next to a piece of broken plate. The plate had roses painted on the edge. I gave Quentin that set for Christmas 2 years ago. 3 months earlier, I stood in this same kitchen loading the dishwasher after Sunday dinner. My hands were covered in soap suds up to my elbows. The water ran hot enough to turn my fingers pink. Talmadge appeared beside me, too close. I could smell her perfume, something expensive that Quentin probably bought her. "Corinne, we need to discuss your living situation." I kept scrubbing a casserole dish. "My living situation is fine." Bethany materialized on my other side. They flanked me like guards. "Dear, you're 71. That big house is too much for one person." I set the casserole dish in the drying rack, picked up a serving spoon. I like my house. "Mother needs a place to stay," Talmadge said. Not asked. Said. "Her landlord is selling." I knew about Bethany's living situation. She'd been temporarily staying with relatives for the past decade. Her last host, a second cousin, had to get a lawyer involved to remove her. Bethany had claimed squatters' rights after 8 months. That's unfortunate, I said. She could take your guest room, Talmadge continued. Her voice had that edge it gets when she's not actually suggesting something. Or, and this is just an idea, you have that apartment in Queens, with strangers living in it. My hands stopped moving in the dishwater. The apartment, my safety net, my retirement plan. I bought it in 1987 for $62,000, saved every penny while working double shifts and eating instant ramen. That apartment was worth $400,000 now. I rented it to a young couple with a newborn baby. They paid $2,400 a month on time, every time. They sent me photos of how they'd painted the nursery. The apartment is occupied, I said. Bethany's voice got syrupy. Leases can be broken, dear, for family. I pulled my hands from the water, dried them on a dish towel, turned to face them both. No. One word, 2 letters. The sound of it hung in the air like smoke. Talmadge's smile stayed on her face, but her eyes changed, got harder, colder. No. The apartment is not available. But Mother needs... No. Bethany gasped. Actually gasped like I'd slapped her. Corinne? That's very unkind. Talmadge's jaw clenched. A muscle jumped in her cheek. For just a second, maybe 2, I saw something raw underneath her smile. Something that made my stomach tighten. Then she turned and walked out of the kitchen. Her heels clicked on the floor, fast, angry. Bethany followed, but not before giving me a look that was supposed to make me feel guilty. I went back to the dishes. My hands shook as I picked up another plate. Quentin walked in 5 minutes later. Talmadge was with him. She wasn't with him, she was behind him, her hand on his shoulder, her eyes red like she'd been crying. Mom, Quentin's voice was tight. Talmadge is really hurt by what you said. I looked at my daughter-in-law. Her bottom lip trembled. Her eyes were wet. She was good. I had to give her that. She was very good. I didn't say anything hurtful, I said. I said no. To family, Talmadge whispered. You said no to helping family. And that's when I knew this was just the beginning. Over the next 3 months, every family gathering became a minefield. Sunday dinners where Talmadge would sigh loudly and say things like, some people have so much while others have nothing. Thanksgiving, where Bethany mentioned 6 times how hard it was to find affordable housing at her age. Christmas, where Talmadge gave me a book about downsizing and simplifying your life in your senior years. Quentin stopped meeting my eyes. At first, it was just during the moments when Talmadge made her comments. He'd look at his plate or his phone or anywhere but at me. Then it spread. He stopped meeting my eyes when he said hello, when he said goodbye. When I asked him direct questions, my son was disappearing in front of me. 7 weeks after that first no, Talmadge showed up at my house. No warning, no phone call, just her car in my driveway at 9 in the morning on a Tuesday. I opened the door to find her holding a manila folder. I was worried about you, she said, pushing past me into my living room. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about all the stress you must be under. She sat on my couch without being invited. Opened the folder, pulled out printed articles. Did you know that senior citizens are the #1 target for financial scams? She laid an article on my coffee table. And look at this one, about elderly people who can't manage their properties anymore and end up in legal trouble. I stayed standing. I manage my property just fine. But the stress, Corinne, at your age, stress can cause serious health problems. Another article, this one about cognitive decline. What if something happens? What if the tenants sue you? What if there's a fire? I have insurance. She pulled out more papers. What if you forget to pay the insurance? What if you miss something important? She looked up at me with eyes that were supposed to look concerned but just looked calculating. I had a lawyer friend draw up a simple document. You just sign the apartment over to Quentin. He'll manage everything. Take all that burden off your shoulders. She slid a paper across my coffee table. I picked it up, read it. The property transfer wasn't to Quentin. It was to Talmadge Rutherford. My hands started to shake. Not from fear, from anger so hot it felt like my fingers might burn through the paper. Get out of my house. Talmadge blinked. What? Get out of my house. Her concerned expression cracked. Just for a heartbeat, I saw the truth underneath. Then her eyes filled with tears. I'm trying to help you, and you're being cruel. Her voice broke perfectly. Wait until Quentin hears how you spoke to me. She gathered her folder, walked to the door, paused with her hand on the knob. You're going to need help eventually, Corinne. It would be better if you accepted it now while you still have a choice. The door closed behind her. The sound echoed through my house. I stood there holding the property transfer document, looking at Talmadge's name typed in black ink. 2 days later, Quentin called, asked if he could come over. His voice sounded tired. He arrived at 6, sat across from me at my kitchen table. The same table where I'd helped him with homework for 12 years, where I'd taught him to tie his shoes, where we'd eaten countless meals together after his father left. Mom, Talmadge told me what happened. What did she tell you? He rubbed his face. That she came here to help, to offer you a solution for the apartment stress. And you yelled at her. I didn't yell. I asked her to leave. She was crying, Mom, really crying. I folded my hands on the table. Did she show you the document she brought? What document? The property transfer. Made out to her name, not yours. He shook his head. She said it was just a draft, a template, that your name would go where hers was. My son. My smart, college-educated son. He actually believed that. Quentin, I'm not signing my property over to anyone. His jaw tightened. Mom, I think you should really consider Talmadge's offer. Managing a rental property is complicated. What if something goes wrong? I've been managing it for 8 years. But you're not getting any younger. He said it carefully, like he'd practiced. What if you start to forget things? What if I'm not competent anymore? The words sat between us like broken glass. He looked down. I didn't say that. You just did. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, Talmadge's name on the screen. There's something else, he said. Even if you won't transfer the apartment, Bethany really does need help. She's family. We need to take care of family. I agree. Hope flickered in his eyes. So you and Talmadge should help her, I continued. You have that extra bedroom in your house. The hope died. Our house is too small. But you have that apartment just sitting there. If you won't give it to Bethany, at least help with her rent. $1,500 a month. That's not too much to ask. I stared at my son, tried to find the boy I'd raised somewhere in this stranger's face. You want me to pay $1,500 a month to support your mother-in-law? I want you to help family. I raised you alone. Worked doubles at the mill until my feet bled. Paid for your entire college education. Bought you a car for graduation. Never asked for a single dollar back. And now you're asking me, no, telling me to pay your wife's mother's rent? His phone buzzed again. Talmadge. Always Talmadge. It's different, he muttered. How? You had to do those things. You're my mother. The words hit me like a punch. Clean, direct, devastating. Get out, I whispered. And Mom, get out of my house. He stood up, grabbed his keys, walked to the door, turned back. You're being selfish, he said. Talmadge is right about you. The door closed. I sat at my kitchen table until the sun went down. Then I sat in the dark. 2 weeks passed. Quentin didn't call, didn't text, nothing. Then the invitation came. Texted to my phone at 8 at night on a Friday. Family party Sunday at 5. Celebrating my promotion. Please come. Q. I stared at those words. Family party. Please come. I almost deleted it. almost stayed home, but he was still my son. So, Sunday at 4:30, I put on my good blue dress, made a casserole, his favorite, with the breadcrumb topping he'd loved since he was 8. Drove to the house I'd helped him buy by co-signing the loan. I should have known something was wrong when I walked in and saw only 4 other people. Quentin, Talmadge, Bethany, and Wendell, Talmadge's brother, the one who specialized in elder law, the one who helped families navigate guardianship and power of attorney and conservatorships. Corinne, Bethany air-kissed both my cheeks. So glad you could make it. Wendell shook my hand. His grip was firm, professional. Nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. I'll bet you have, I thought. Talmadge took my casserole. How sweet. We'll have this with dinner. The table was already set. 5 places, 5 glasses of wine already poured. We sat down, made small talk, the weather, Quentin's promotion, Talmadge's new position on the PTA board. The pot roast was dry, the conversation was drier. Then, between the main course and dessert, Wendell cleared his throat. Corinne, I understand there's been some family tension lately. I set down my fork carefully. Oh? Quentin and Talmadge mentioned some disagreements. About property management. About family support. He smiled. It was supposed to be warm. It looked practiced. I wanted to offer some professional perspective. I didn't ask for professional perspective. I know, but as we age, certain decisions become more difficult. There are legal mechanisms that can help. That can protect you. He pulled papers from a briefcase beside his chair, slid them across the table. This is a power of attorney designation. It would give Quentin legal authority to manage your assets, your properties, your finances, and this, he tapped the second document, is a property transfer for the Queen's apartment. It would move ownership to Quentin's name for your protection. I didn't touch the papers. For my protection. Estate planning is crucial at your age. If something were to happen, nothing is going to happen. But if it did, Bethany interrupted, leaning forward, wouldn't you want to know your affairs were in order? That Quentin could take care of everything? I looked at the documents, at Wendell's expensive pen sitting on top of them, at Talmadge's face trying so hard to look concerned instead of hungry. No, I said. Talmadge's concerned expression flickered. Corinne, you're not understanding. I understand perfectly. You want me to sign over my property and give up control of my finances. The answer is no. Quentin spoke for the first time since we sat down. Mom, if you just listen, I have listened. For 3 months, I've listened to demands disguised as concern. I've listened to manipulation disguised as family love. I've listened to my own son tell me I'm not competent to manage my own life. I stood up. I'm done listening. How dare you? Talmadge's voice cut through the room like a blade. She stood up too. Her chair scraped against the floor so hard it left marks. How dare you say no to my mother? Her voice rose with each word. She needs help. She needs a place to live. And you sit on that property collecting money from strangers while she suffers. You selfish, cruel, stupid woman. The room went still. Quentin's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Bethany made a small sound. Wendell shifted in his chair, suddenly very interested in his wine glass. I picked up my purse. I'm leaving. I turned toward the door. I didn't see Talmadge's hand move, didn't see her grab her dinner plate, didn't see her arm raise above her head. But I felt the impact when porcelain met skull. The plate doesn't just break, it detonates. Shards fly in every direction, across the table, under the chairs, into the corners where they'll hide for weeks. A piece lands in Bethany's wine glass with a tiny splash. Another skitters across the hardwood and disappears under the refrigerator. The sound comes after the feeling. A crack so loud Wendell jumps and drops his fork, then silence. Complete. Total. The kind of silence that feels thick enough to choke on. My hand goes to my head, finds wetness, warmth. I pull my fingers away and they're painted red, not gravy, not punch. Blood, my blood on my hand, dripping onto my good blue dress, the one I bought on clearance at Macy's, the one I wore because my son said this was a celebration. Talmadge still has her arm raised, frozen mid-swing. Her face is the color of a fire engine. Her chest heaves up and down like she's been running. Her eyes are wild, wide and bright and almost surprised, like she can't quite believe what she just did. Bethany's hands fly to her mouth. Oh my God. Quentin moves toward me. Mom, don't. The word comes out steady, calm. I don't feel calm, but my voice doesn't shake. Don't touch me. He stops. His hand hangs in the air between us. Wendell stands up fast enough that his chair tips backward. It hits the floor with a bang that makes Bethany gasp. Blood runs down the side of my face. I feel it trace the curve of my cheekbone, feel it drip off my jaw, and feel it soak into the collar of my dress, spreading in a warm stain. The pain comes in waves, throbs in time with my heartbeat. But I don't touch my head again. I keep my bloody hand where everyone can see it. Evidence, proof, witness. And then I smile. It starts small, just a twitch at the corner of my mouth. Then it grows, spreads, pulls at my cheeks until I can feel it stretch across my face. Wide, genuine, the kind of smile that reaches your eyes. Talmadge's arm slowly lowers. The wild look in her eyes changes, becomes something else. Uncertainty. Maybe fear. You have no idea what I just did, I say. The words float through the silent room like smoke, like poison, like truth. Talmadge's red face drains, pink to pale to white in the span of a heartbeat. What? What did you do? Bethany's voice comes out high and thin. I reach into my purse, pull out my phone. The screen lights up and I watch understanding dawn on Wendell's face. He knows. The attorney brain is faster than the others. He's already calculating, already seeing how this ends. 2 weeks ago, I say slowly, I made some phone calls. Quentin steps closer. Mom, what calls? The first one was to Wendell's law firm. I look at Talmadge's brother, watch his face go gray. I filed an ethics complaint for using a family gathering to coerce legal documents from an elderly client, for conflict of interest, for elder abuse. Wendell's mouth opens, closes, opens again. No sound comes out. The second call, I continue, was to my own attorney, Rosemarie Chen. She specializes in elder abuse cases, financial exploitation of seniors, family manipulation. I touch my bleeding head again. Look at the fresh red on my fingers. She's going to love this. Talmadge takes a step back. Her heel crunches on broken plate. You can't. The third call was to my financial advisor. The room gets quieter somehow, like everyone stopped breathing at once. I liquidated everything. 4 words. Simple, clean, devastating. What? Talmadge's voice cracks. What does that mean? Bethany grabs the edge of the table. Corinne, what did you do? I pull out a chair, sit down carefully. Blood drips onto the table. A red drop lands next to Wendell's abandoned wine glass. The apartment you wanted so badly? I sold it 2 weeks ago to my tenants. That nice young couple with the baby. I gave them a fair price. Below market value because they've been good to me and they needed a home for their daughter. I watch Talmadge's face. Watch the color continue draining. The sale closed yesterday. You can't, Talmadge can't finish a sentence. Her hands open and close like she's trying to grab something that isn't there. My house, the one you wanted me to sign over or let Bethany move into? I transferred it to an irrevocable trust. Rosemarie is the trustee. I can live in it until I die. After that, it goes to charity. I smile wider. You can't touch it. Ever. Bethany makes a sound like a wounded animal. Quentin shakes his head. Mom, why would you? My bank accounts, my retirement savings, I set up a living trust. Most of it goes to charity when I die. There's a small stipend for you, Quentin, but only if you meet certain conditions. What conditions? His voice barely whispers. Regular visits. Genuine relationship. Proved over time. With witnesses. I look at him. Really look at him. Try to find my boy in this stranger's face. You'll have to earn it. Like I earned everything I gave you. The silence stretches. Pulls. Becomes something physical. Wendell is the first to move. He grabs his briefcase. Shoves the unsigned documents inside. I need to leave. Running? I ask. Smart. The ethics complaint is already filed. You being here for this? I gesture at my bleeding head, at the broken plate, at the disaster this dinner has become. Won't help your case. He's at the door before I finish speaking. It slams behind him. Bethany turns on me. You've ruined everything. My daughter was trying to help you and your daughter just assaulted me. I pull my phone out again. Which brings me to the next call I need to make. Talmadge's eyes go wide. What are you doing? I unlock my phone. Open the keypad. Start dialing. No! Talmadge lunges for the phone. Quentin catches her arm. Don't make it worse. Worse? She spins on him. How can it be worse? She's taken everything. There was nothing to take, I say quietly. That's the point. My finger hovers over the final digit. 911. Mom, please. Quentin's voice breaks. Don't do this. Don't call the police after your wife smashed a plate against my head? After she assaulted me? After she committed a crime? Blood drips into my eye. I wipe it away with my sleeve. The blue fabric turns dark. It was an accident, Bethany says desperately. She didn't mean. I was walking away. She grabbed a plate. She raised it above her head. She swung it at me with enough force to break it against my skull. I look at each of them. Which part was an accident? Talmadge starts crying. Real tears this time. Not the practiced ones she uses for manipulation. These are messy, desperate, scared. Please, she whispers. Please don't call. Why shouldn't I? Because I'll lose my job, my reputation, everything. I tilt my head, feel blood run down my neck. Like you wanted me to lose everything? She has no answer for that. I press the final button, put the phone to my ear. 911, what's your emergency? The operator's voice fills the quiet room. I need to report an assault, I say. My voice stays steady, calm, clear. And I need an ambulance. I'm bleeding from a head wound. Talmadge sinks into a chair, buries her face in her hands. Moa. Bethany starts talking fast. This is a misunderstanding, a family disagreement. She's overreacting. The operator asks for the address. I give it. She asks if I'm in immediate danger. I look at Talmadge crying into her hands, at Bethany wringing hers, at Quentin standing frozen. No, I say, and not anymore. She tells me to stay on the line. That help is coming. Police and paramedics, 8 minutes. I stay on the phone, stay sitting at the dinner table, watch blood drip onto the white tablecloth. Quentin approaches slowly. Mom, maybe we can what? Forget this happened? Pretend your wife didn't assault me? Go back to you pressuring me to give away everything I've worked for? He flinches. I raised you better than this, I say. I taught you to stand up for what's right, to protect people who can't protect themselves, to be kind and honest and strong. My voice cracks for the first time. Where did that boy go? I'm right here, he whispers. No, you're not. Sirens in the distance. Getting closer. Talmadge's head snaps up. Quentin, do something. He looks at her, then at me. then at the floor, choosing. I watch him choose in real time. Red and blue lights flash through the windows. Car doors slam. Heavy footsteps on the porch. The doorbell rings. Nobody moves. It rings again. Should I get that? Quentin asks. His voice sounds young, lost. Yes, I say, let them in. He walks to the door like a man heading to his own execution. Opens it. 2 police officers step inside. One is young, maybe 25. The other is older, gray at the temples. The older one's eyes go straight to my bleeding head. Ma'am, are you Corinne? Yes. The paramedics are right behind us. Can you tell me what happened? I point at Talmadge. She hit me with a plate. The younger officer looks at the broken pieces on the floor, at the blood on my dress, at Talmadge crying at the table. Is this true? He asks her. She doesn't answer, just keeps crying. The older officer kneels beside my chair. How are you feeling? Dizzy? Nauseous? My head hurts. I think I need stitches. Paramedics will be here in a minute. He looks at the blood, at the pieces of plate, at the distance between where I'm sitting and where Talmadge sits. Can you walk me through what happened, step by step? I tell him. The whole story. The 3 months of harassment, the demands for my apartment, tonight's ambush with Wendell and the legal documents, Talmadge's explosion, the plate. He writes it all down. His pen scratches against the notepad. The paramedics arrive, 2 of them. They check my head, ask me questions. What day is it? Who's the president? Can I follow their finger with my eyes? Possible concussion, one of them says. Definitely needs stitches. We should transport to the hospital for observation. The older police officer stands, walks over to Talmadge. Ma'am, I need you to stand up, please. She looks up with red, swollen eyes. Why? You're under arrest for assault. The room erupts. Bethany screams. Quentin yells. Talmadge starts crying harder. The officer stays calm. Ma'am, please stand up and place your hands behind your back. You can't arrest her. Quentin grabs the officer's arm. This is a misunderstanding. My mother is lying. The younger officer moves between Quentin and his partner. Sir, step back, now. She's making this up. Sir, if you don't step back, I will arrest you for obstruction. Is that what you want? Quentin's hand drops. He steps back. The older officer helps Talmadge stand, turns her around gently, pulls out handcuffs. You have the right to remain silent. The Miranda rights echo through the dining room, mix with Bethany's crying, with Quentin's protests, with the sound of metal clicking around Talmadge's wrists. I watch it all from my chair, blood dripping, head throbbing, heart breaking, but not afraid. For the first time in 3 months, not afraid. They lead Talmadge out. She looks back at me once. Her eyes aren't angry anymore. They're terrified. The door closes behind them. Quentin stands in the middle of the room, lost. What did you do? He whispers. What did you just do? I protected myself, I say. Since you wouldn't? The paramedics help me stand, guide me toward the door. I'm going with her, Quentin says. No, I say. You're not. Mom, you made your choice, Quentin. When she hit me and you called it an accident. When you grabbed that officer's arm and called me a liar. You chose. I look at him one last time. I'm making my choice too. The ambulance doors close. Through the small window, I see Quentin standing on his porch. Bethany beside him, both of them getting smaller as we pull away. The hospital is bright and loud and smells like antiseptic. They put me in a room, clean my wound. A doctor comes. Young, she has kind eyes. 6 stitches, she says. You're lucky. Could have been much worse. Lucky, I almost laugh. They stitch my head, give me painkillers, tell me I need to stay for observation. Possible concussion protocol. I'm alone in the hospital room when my phone rings. Rosemarie, my attorney. I got an alert, she says. Police report with your name on it. What happened? I tell her. Everything. She listens without interrupting. Do you want to press charges? She asks when I finish. Yes. Good. I'll file for a restraining order in the morning. Against Talmadge and Bethany. Maybe Wendell too, depending on what the ethics board decides. And Quentin? Silence on the line, then soft. Do you want a restraining order against your son? I close my eyes, feel tears leak out the corners. No, but I don't want to see him either. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Okay, she says, Pay. I'll handle it. You rest. I'll come by in the morning. She hangs up. I lie in the hospital bed, stare at the ceiling, wonder how I got here, wonder if I could have done anything different, wonder if my son will ever understand. The door opens. A nurse checks my vitals, smiles at me, leaves. Alone again. My phone buzzes. A text. Quentin. Please call me. I delete it. Another one comes. Mom, please, we need to talk. Delete. I'm sorry. Delete. Mom? I turn off my phone, close my eyes. Sleep doesn't come, but I lie there anyway, waiting for morning. 3 days in the hospital. Concussion protocol. They wake me every few hours, shine lights in my eyes, ask me questions. What's your name? Where are you? What year is it? Corinne, hospital, 2024. Over and over. Rosemarie visits, brings paperwork. The restraining order is approved. Talmadge has to stay 500 feet away, so does Bethany. Wendell is under investigation by the state bar. What about criminal charges? I ask. The DA is reviewing the case. Talmadge has a good lawyer. They're trying to plead it down to a misdemeanor. Will she go to jail? Rosemarie shakes her head. Probably not. First offense. She'll likely get probation, anger management classes, community service. It doesn't feel like enough, but it's something. Quentin doesn't visit, doesn't call after that first night. The silence feels heavy, final. They release me on the 4th day. Rosemarie drives me home, walks me to my door, makes sure I'm steady on my feet. You did the right thing, she says. I nod. Don't trust my voice. Call me if you need anything. Anything at all. She leaves. I walk through my house, the one I transferred to a trust, the one Talmadge will never touch. It feels empty, quiet. I look at the photos on the wall, Quentin at 5, at 10, at graduation, my boy, my son, the one I lost somewhere along the way. Weeks pass, turn into months. The legal proceedings unfold like Rosemarie predicted. Talmadge pleads guilty to misdemeanor assault, gets probation, anger management, 100 hours of community service. Wendell receives a formal reprimand from the state bar, not enough to lose his license, but enough to damage his reputation. Bethany finds another relative to stay with, her sister in Ohio. I hear through mutual acquaintances that she's already outstayed her welcome. And Quentin, 6 weeks after the plate, after the hospital, after everything. My phone rings, his name on the screen. I almost don't answer. My finger hovers over the decline button, but he's still my son. I answer. Mom. His voice sounds rough, tired. Can I come over? Every instinct screams no. Protect yourself. Keep the distance. Don't let him hurt you again. But, okay, I whisper. He arrives an hour later, stands on my porch like a stranger. I almost don't let him in. Almost close the door, but I open it, step aside. He walks in, looks around like he's seeing the house for the first time, sits on the couch. I sit across from him, far enough that he can't reach me. Talmadge and I are separated, he says. I say nothing. She's living with her mother in Ohio. I'm still in the house. Silence. I've been going to therapy. He looks at his hands. The therapist says I was being manipulated. That Talmadge was using emotional abuse tactics, that I should have seen it. You should have. He flinches. I know. You chose her over me. when she was screaming at me, calling me names, hitting me. You chose her. I know. His voice breaks. I know, and I'm sorry, and I don't know how to fix it. You can't, I say simply. You can't fix this, Quentin. You can't take back the choice you made. You can't erase calling me a liar while I bled. Tears run down his face. My son. Crying in my living room. I feel nothing. The place where my heart used to break for him is just empty. I'm your mother, I say. I raised you alone, gave you everything. And when I needed you, just once, just one time, to stand up for me, you didn't. I'm sorry. I know you are. But sorry doesn't change what happened. He wipes his eyes. Is there any way, miss, can we try again? I think about the trust, about the conditions I built in, regular visits, genuine relationship, proved over time. Maybe, I say, but not now, not yet. How long? I don't know, maybe never. Maybe someday. I stand up. You need to leave now. He stands too, walks to the door, stops. I love you, Mom. The words hang in the air. I don't say them back. The door closes behind him. I sit in my quiet house and feel the emptiness settle around me like dust. 6 months after the plate. After the blood. After everything changed. I'm 72 now. Birthday came and went without fanfare. Just me and a cupcake from the grocery store. I joined a book club, Thursday nights at the library, 7 women between 60 and 80. We read mysteries mostly, discussed them over tea and cookies. One of the women is named Philippa. She has kind eyes and gray hair she wears in a long braid. We became friends, real friends, the kind who tell each other the truth. My daughter hasn't spoken to me in 3 years, she told me one night after book club. I didn't give her money for her boyfriend's business idea. She called me selfish. Said I was a terrible mother. Haven't heard from her since. I'm sorry, I said. Don't be, I'm not. She smiled, sad but real. Some people only love you for what you can give them. Learning that hurt. But knowing it? That's freedom. Freedom, strange word for this feeling, this lightness mixed with grief. I volunteer at the library now, Tuesday and Saturday mornings. I read to children during story time. Their faces light up at the good parts. They gasp at the scary parts. They're honest in a way adults forget how to be. The apartment in Queens, the one I sold to my tenants, they sent me a Christmas card. A photo of their daughter in front of a tree. She's 2 now, walking, smiling. They wrote, "Thank you for giving us a home." I keep the card on my refrigerator. My house, the one in the trust, feels less empty now. I planted flowers in the spring, tomatoes in the summer. The garden gives me something to do with my hands, something to nurture that doesn't hurt me back. Rosemarie and I have lunch once a month. She tells me about her cases. I tell her about book club. We don't talk about Quentin or Talmadge or that night. We talk about living, about moving forward. The scar on my head healed. 6 stitches left a thin, white line that disappears into my hairline. Most people don't notice it. But I know it's there. I touch it sometimes. Remember, not with anger anymore, just remembering. Quentin texts sometimes, once a month, always the same. Thinking of you, hope you're well. I don't respond, not yet. Maybe not ever. Talmadge finished her probation. The restraining order expired. I could see her now if I wanted to. I don't want to. Bethany is someone else's problem now, and me? I'm learning who I am without my son, without the weight of his expectations, without the constant pressure to give more, do more, be less. I'm learning that loneliness and peace can exist in the same space. I'm learning that choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. People ask sometimes, the book club ladies, Philippa, other volunteers at the library, if I regret it. if I wish I'd just given them the apartment. Paid the monthly rent, kept the peace. I tell them no. Every time, no. Because the alternative was spending whatever years I have left being bled dry by people who saw me as a resource, who measured my worth in property and bank accounts instead of blood and sacrifice and 20 years of unconditional love. The alternative was teaching my son that bullying works, that abuse gets rewarded, that mothers exist to be used until there's nothing left. I chose differently. I chose the hard thing, the thing that cost me my son, the thing that left me alone in this house with my books and my garden and my volunteer shifts. But I also chose dignity, self-respect, boundaries that actually mean something. I chose myself. And most days, not all, but most, that feels like enough. The doorbell rings. I'm not expecting anyone. I check the window first. Old habit now, it's Philippa, holding a pie. Blueberry, she calls through the door. Fresh this morning, thought we could have some with coffee. I smile, open the door. Come in. We sit at my kitchen table. The same one where Quentin told me I wasn't competent, where Talmadge slid that first property transfer across the surface, where so much damage was done. But today, it's just a table, with pie and coffee and a friend who understands. How are you really? Philippa asks. I think about it. Really think. I'm okay, I say, and I mean it. She nods, squeezes my hand, eats her pie. The afternoon sun comes through the window, warm, golden. It lights up the kitchen, makes everything glow. I look around my house, my home, the one I fought for, the one I kept. And I think, this is what winning looks like. Not revenge, not getting even, not making them hurt the way they hurt me. Just this. Peace, safety, a friend across the table, pie on a Thursday afternoon. This is what I saved when I said no. This is what I protected when I smiled through the blood. This is what I won. If you've ever been told you don't matter, that your boundaries are negotiable, that family means giving until you're empty, you still have power. The power to say no. The power to choose yourself. The power to walk away from people who only love what you can give them. To anyone fighting their own battle right now, anyone being pressured or manipulated or told that protecting yourself is selfish, your worth isn't determined by what you give away. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to be used. What lesson hit you hardest from this story? And if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you have signed over the apartment to keep the peace? Or would you have fought back like I did? Don't stop here. Click the next video on your screen right now and watch another story from our channel. There are more stories of people who chose themselves, who drew lines, who survived. You need to see them. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know if you've ever had to make a choice like mine. Tell me your story. I'll see you in the next one.